Welcome back to Pocket Watch, Episode 8, Novocaine, the show where I don't know the runtime and count how many times I check my phone or my watch to see if a movie is gas or ass. Like and subscribe so I don't have to start making TikToks, and follow me at Indian Jones on Letterboxd for more movie content. Based on the trailer, it seems like I'm going to be watching Hughie from The Boys.
Come on, Hughie.
Play the same character he does in everything that he's in, and not that I don't like that character that much. I'm just curious to see if people love that archetype so much that Jack Quaid's gotten to play that character 5 times, or maybe it's because he's a Nepo baby with Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan as his parents. I do love Meg Ryan though.
Oh. Ooh.
Are you okay?
To be fair though, I haven't seen Companion yet, and I've heard he's pretty good in that too, so I'll have to check that out. I think this movie will still end up being pretty fun though. Seems like a typical action comedy that no one really hates, so we'll see how it goes. Let's get to the pocket watch checks. I think this movie is going to be pretty short, standard to the action comedy genre, so I'm going to guess that it's going to be an hour 37 minutes long. And I'm predicting that there will only be one pocket watch check. For a movie like this, I think anything more than that would be a failure. So let's see how it goes. All right, off to the movie.
We come to this place for magic. We come to AMC theaters to laugh, to cry.
Oh, God, no.
To care. Because we need that.
Back at
All
AMC.
of us. That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim.
We're back from the movie, and yet again, I'm recording this a little after my initial recording. The mustache is gone. I think it's the end of that era. I got some feedback saying it's only hurting my numbers, but I feel like I was rocking it. Who knows? Maybe I'll bring it back eventually. But anyways, let's just get straight to the pocket watch checks. I predicted this movie would be an hour 37 minutes long. It ended up being an hour 50. So I wasn't too far off, only 13 minutes, pretty happy with that. And there was only one pocket watch throughout the whole movie. I checked around the hour 30 mark just because I felt like we were approaching my predicted runtime, and it felt like this movie could have ended multiple times, honestly. This movie really surprised me with how much I ended up enjoying it. They really need to bring back more movies like Novocaine where you can just sit, turn your mind off, and be entertained the whole time. And this was original IP, which is always cool to see.
But I'm not a rapper.
But I can definitely see it being a comedy version of John Wick down the line. And if they end up doing that, I will be there no matter what. I think I had a smile on my face for this entire movie, and the only times I didn't was when I was reacting to some of the blood, gore, brutality. I know it's hit or miss for some people, but for me, I loved every second of it. It is funny, though, that this is just a bunch of people playing the characters that they're typically typecast as. Jack Quaid is obviously playing his aw shucks Hughie personality from The Boys.
Come on, Hughie.
Where he's this awkward guy that has to come out of his shell. Jacob Batalon from the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland is back in his role as
Guy in the chair.
He does have some in-person work to do here, but still more of the same. And they had Matt Walsh doing the same role he played in Veep as the sarcastic assistant figure, where he has that dry sense of humor and seems lazy, but people still love him. I feel like this had to have been intentional. They probably built this movie around Hughie.
Come on, Hughie.
I mean, Jack Quaid. And they just went down the list of the other actors and had them play roles that were similar to characters they've played before and roles that were super well received by audiences. I feel like it ends up being a way for them to guarantee people will enjoy these characters because it's pretty safe since there was a precedent set already. Going back to Jack Quaid though, he might be a Nepo baby, but he was pretty charming in this. And his comedic timing was really good, so I wasn't even a little bit mad. And I thought the needle drops throughout the movie were really good, except the abundance of Christmas songs. And actually, that reminds me, I was so confused why Novocaine didn't come out during Christmas time. This movie was super Christmas coded. It takes place during the Christmas holidays. The bank robbers at the beginning of the movie come in wearing Santa costumes, screaming ho ho ho, and like I mentioned before, there was an abundance of Christmas music. Hughie,
come on, Hughie.
He even has a winter tie-on for a bit of this movie, and they mentioned throughout that they're short-staffed for the winter holidays, so they're not even trying to hide it. They're really putting it in your face. Pause. It just seems super random for a March release. I feel like it had to have been delayed from a November or December release date. The only other thing I can think of is they were trying to replicate the success of Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
which is obviously a Christmas movie, but it came out in July. If that was the game plan, it's a horrible decision because March, April, it's still pretty close to winter and no one's ready to think about Christmas yet. Novocaine really isn't a movie where spoilers will ruin your experience or anything, but I am going to get into some spoilers for the next section, so if you want to skip ahead, skip ahead. I'll put some timestamps in. All right, let's get into the problems I had with this movie. One of the problems was because I watched the trailer. I feel like they showed a lot of the cool fight scenes where Jack Quaid gets to use his body and power in a unique way in the trailer. And don't get me wrong, it was still fun to see him a second time on the big screen, but I think we need to find the balance between showing us all the main stuff and getting people excited for the movie without showing them everything. There were definitely still some scenes that they didn't put in the trailer that got me super excited and on the edge of my seat. I just wish there was more of those, if that makes sense. Putting his hand in the fryer to grab the gun, though, will never not be cool. And Jack Quaid's acting when he's getting tortured and his fingernails plucked is essentially the TLDR of this movie. It blends the gore of getting tortured with the comedy of him having to act like it hurts, even though it doesn't at all. But the only real issue I had was the plot twist of Sherry being the head bank robber's sister, which was slightly predictable. But it's hard to tell because they told us the twist so early in the movie. Maybe it would have landed better if we found out the truth when Nate did, but I think it was a cool choice for us to know beforehand because we get to see him on the brink of death fighting to get to her, and the whole time we're just cringing, waiting for the moment they meet and her true intentions get revealed. Overall, the writing isn't super believable. For example, Jack Quaid has sex with a girl once, and the next day he's ready to put his life on the line for her. I know they need to get right into the movie, but they could have at least jumped forward a few weeks or sped through a month-long relationship. And at the end, he finds out that he was Sherry's mark the whole time and her brother was the one that set up the bank robbery, but he still wants to be with her. Me personally, though, I can't be going after someone who changes their mind or switches allegiances that easily. But I guess she is the actress that plays Princess Yue in the Avatar The Last Airbender live action TV show, not the movie. There is no Avatar The Last Airbender movie in Ba Sing Se. Novocaine definitely did have some plot holes too, like when the cop gave Sherry the gun to go shoot Sherry's brother, even though the cop knew that that was her brother. Like, come on. You could probably pick this movie apart using plot holes or just logic in general. And the writing is far from perfect, and the characters are by no means fleshed out. But who cares? If you're doing all that picking apart for a movie like this, I'm convinced that you don't like having fun or you don't know how to have fun. I'd highly recommend watching this movie in theaters before it goes out, because I know it's not going to hit the same at home. You watch this movie to turn off your mind and fully lock in on the gore and the slapstick comedy of everything, and this movie succeeds in everything it sets out to do. So for me, it's going to be a 3.5 out of 5. That's a wrap. Pocket Watch episode 8, Novocaine. See you next Friday.